The 1984 Dolphins were led by the arm of legendary quarterback Dan Marino, and their 1984 season has to be on the short list for greatest offensive seasons of all time, with Marino's extraordinary season leading to a Super Bowl berth and Marino setting numerous NFL records that wouldn't be broken for 20 plus years. Now in this video, we are going to dive into the principles of their offense, and we're going to set up our offense to attack just like they did. Then we're going to go over the main stars that made their offense so tough to stop and show you how to bring the explosive Dolphins offense to Madden 23. Then formationally, the Miami Dolphins of 84 effectively leveraged single back formations. This setup was characterized by a lone running back lined up directly behind the quarterback. This allowed them to employ an aggressive quick strike pass game, and their heavy use of 3 wide receiver sets compared to other teams of the era looked to put constant pressure on the defense and stretch them vertically. Coupling this with Marino's cannon arm, and they were able to exploit mismatches, dissect defensive coverages, and produce a multitude of big plays through the air. And to replicate this, we are going to be using these 3 formations in the West Coast Playbook. Then this is actually all a part of a bigger scheme I am creating where I break down 5 offenses from the NFL's golden era from the mid 80s to the late 90s, and each of these will be run out of the West Coast Playbook so they can all be used together, and the playlist for the whole scheme will be down in the description. When Don Shula, the Dolphins' legendary head coach, decided to overhaul his traditional run-heavy offensive philosophy, he gave rise to a groundbreaking air attack that in 1984 would transform the landscape of the game. The focal point of this offensive revolution was Marino himself, whose strong arm, unparalleled ability to throw deep, and quick decision-making prowess made him the perfect candidate for this aggressive style of play. Marino excelled at stretching the defense with powerful, accurate throws, often exploiting gaps in the secondary and taking every opportunity to attack downfield. And we are going to be utilizing a heavy dose of this deep passing game to absolutely shred our opponents. Here we are looking to play X option in single back doubles north, and here are the adjustments for this play. Now this is going to be an incredible one-play touchdown versus cover 3, and you will get this option route streaking down the field for huge gains where you can let it fly just like Marino. This option route will be our first read, and against cover 3, this will turn into a fade route that will get in behind deep thirds, and they will just let them sprint by them, and the deep middle safety will get held inside, and as soon as that option route clears that deep third defender, you can bomb them deep over the top for huge gains versus cover 3. Then on this play, if that deep route is taken away, then we have the deep post coming in over the middle, and if the user gets pulled out of the middle of the field, this is going to be a great second option. Then the check down on this play is going to be the hitch underneath, and if both the deeper routes are taken away, then we can just drop this down underneath in the flats and live to fight another day. Next, we're looking at curl dig in single back doubles north, and here are the adjustments for this play. Now this is going to be a great play versus cover 2 and cover 3 shells to push the ball down the field and get in behind their zones deep along the sideline for really big pickups. First, against cover 3, you will see this deep third on the bunch side will get pulled inside by the streak, and then this deep post will get deep in along the sideline and be wide open in behind any flat defender in the game, and you can drop it into him for a huge pickup. Then against cover 2, this play will be even better. The deep half now will get held inside by the streak, and now this deeper corner out is going to be open deep down the field, and you can pass lead this ball further down the field and rack catch this and turn this into even bigger explosive plays down the field. Then on this play, if we get the user leaving the middle of the field to run with that deeper corner route, then we have this tight end sit route over the middle of the field, putting the user in a super tough spot, and this is a great second option on this play. Then lastly, we have the hitch from the bunch for a check down. If we see everyone dropping out at the snap, then you can just fire this ball down to him and gain those easy yards that they are giving us underneath. The unbelievable explosiveness of the Miami Dolphins in 1984 can largely be traced back to the utilization of small but swift wide receivers. Dan Marino's massive arm coupled with the speed and precision of wide receivers Mark Clayton and Mark Duper, who each had more than 1,300 yards and averaged more than 18 yards per reception, formed a potent attack that kept defenses guessing and on their heels. Innovatively captivating on their speed and elusiveness, the Dolphins offense sought to stretch the field, consistently testing defenses deep and subsequently creating space for plays underneath. This strategy perfectly complemented the skill set of Clayton and Duper, who despite their small stature were masters at making big plays. For my main two wideouts, we are going to be using Jerry Rice and Andre Rison, and they bring the same big play ability to stretch the field and make plays down the field. Then I'm using route tech on both them to make sure they can separate from man coverage, and this is something you definitely should target. Next, we're looking at 6-8-9 hooks and split offset, and here are the adjustments for this play. With our running back motioning out, this is going to give us a trips look to the short side with multiple options on this play to hit for deep explosive chunk yardage. The first place we want to look to is the deep post if we get single high cover 3 post snap, and we will see as he gets down the field, the middle safety will get held inside by the streak, then the wide side deep third will get held down by the comeback, and once the post clears that middle safety, you can let it fly deep down the field for huge gains and can even be one play scores. Next, we can look to the outside streak, and against a single high cover 3, the deep half on that side will get held inside by the streak, allowing this fade from the outside receiver to get open down the field, and you can pass lead this ball up and away from the corner, and he will get 2 to 3 steps behind him, and you can rack catch this up the sideline for huge gains. Then against cover 2, now this fade will get deep in behind the corner, and the deep safety on this side will get held back into the inside by the running back on a street, and now you can drop it into this hole shot along the sideline for another deep option. Then on this play, if you don't like any of the deeper options or they are getting pressure in at the QB, then this is where we have the running back sitting down in their zone coverage, and you can just drop it to him underneath for a check down. The 84 Dolphins offensive scheme was revolutionized by their clever appointment of running backs, not just as weapons on the ground to give them bounds to their offense, but as pivotal receiving options as well. Running back Tony Nathan was instrumental in this approach, showcasing his agility and versatility as both a runner and a receiver. As the player with the third most receiving yards on the team in 84 with over 500, and this was a huge mark for a running back at this time. Nathan's involvement in the pass game amplified the Dolphins' offensive prowess, and his dual role kept defenses guessing, providing Marino with a dependable outlet underneath. For our running back, we want to target similar traits, and I'm using Travis Etienne in this role, who has the speed to get to the edge and make plays on the ground, but is also a very good receiver who can be a weapon in our pass game. Next, we have HB pitch in single back doubles north. Here we want to have our 2 tight receivers to the wide side, then we want to take the solo receiver and motion him across the field, and this will give us a bunch look with an extra blocker. Then snap the ball, and now we'll have all 3 of these receivers out in front, picking off defenders and pinning them inside. This can allow you to use your speed at running back and hit the edge of the defense, get out into the secondary, and make some big plays. Then on this play, we also have our guard pulling out as a lead blocker, and we're going to have nasty streak on both of our guards. So now when they meet a DB or a linebacker in the open field, they will blow them up, and this can spring us to the outside and allow us to even be more explosive with this toss play. Next up, we have Y shallow cross in split offset, and here are the adjustments. This is an amazing play to attack all levels of the field with 2 vertical options, 1 intermediate option, and a great option underneath, making this play incredibly tough to stop. First, we're going to have this auto motion down receiver, and this is actually going to be the same motion as a man beater coming up, so this is really going to help disguise our call. Then after he motions down and the ball is snapped, he's going to turn into a post running up the seam. The deep safeties here are going to get pulled back, and this post will get in behind the hooks, and you can drop it into him for a really nice pickup. Then next, we're going to have the running back out of the backfield on a wheel, and we're going to have the slot receiver running off the deep blue defender, and the flat is going to let the wheel get in behind him and not turn and run with him, and you can just drop it into him for a really nice pickup. Then if at the snap you see the flat defender on that side is starting to drop way back, you can quick throw the wheel right as he cuts upfield for a nice easy pickup and just let him make a play with the ball in his hands. Then we can also play off the user, and if he leaves the middle of the field to take that running back wheel or the deep post, then we're going to have this dig from the solo receiver attacking the middle for a great third option. Then lastly, on this play for a check down, we have the other running back just on the shallow route running across the field, and if nothing is open deep or you are getting pressured, then fire it into him and let him make a play in the open field. So if you want to take this offense to the next level, you need to check out my website, Scheme Kings. Up right now is part 2 of this video, where I'll give you 7 more plays out of this 84 Dolphins offense to allow you to turn this into a complete scheme with the ability to attack and take advantage of any defensive look that you come up against. Then also on this site are all my past schemes like my NCAA spread offense and my LOB Seahawks defense and a ton more. So if you want to check out Scheme Kings, the link for it will be down in the description below. In the groundbreaking 1984 season, Dan Marino reimagined what was possible from the quarterback position. He shat shattered records with an astounding 5,084 passing yards and 48 touchdowns, benchmarks that would stand untouched for more than 2 decades, setting a new standard for what NFL QBs could strive towards. Marino's tremendous arm strength was famously complemented by an exceptionally swift release, perhaps the fastest we have ever seen. This enabled him to deliver the ball instantaneously, thwarting blitzes and exploiting opportunities in the middle of the field, and this was the final integral piece to the Dolphins' offensive juggernaut. Their ability to attack deep, use their running back as a weapon in the run and pass game, and then Marino being able to pick you apart underneath and over the middle of the field created a strategy that we are going to use to our advantage to overwhelm our opponents in Madden 23. At my QB, I'm using the Joe Montana Ultimate Legend card, and he has that perfect mix of pinpoint accuracy to put the ball in perfect spots and arm strength to push the ball down the field and make some big plays in this Dolphins pass game. Then I'm using Heart Route Master to give him more creativity on offense, though you definitely don't have to. Next up, we have Mesh in split offset, and here are the adjustments on the play. This is going to be our go-to man coverage beater in this scheme, and this is going to give us 4 great options that will all attack each level of the field and even can turn into deep one-play score opportunities. Here we're going to have that same auto motion down as the Y shallow cross setup, so it can disguise our play call, but now the motion is going to turn into a drag across the field, but we're actually going to stay to the outside here first and look to the corner route, and we do have route tech on this player, and as he breaks, he will lose his man coverage and be wide open for a big pickup along the sideline. Next, we can look to the other side of the field, and we're going to have a running back on a wheel out of the backfield, but we're also going to have a whip on that side, and as he breaks out, it will be just as the running back wheels by, and you're going to get this natural rub action a ton, and your running back is going to come out untouched and fly up the field, and you can bomb him over the top for huge gains. This happens a ton and is a great way to get your running back vertical in the pass game and use him as a weapon down the field for big plays. Then if you look to that side and the pick doesn't happen and the running back is covered, that is where we want to look down to the whip, and as he breaks out, he's going to get really good separation. This is a great third option. Then lastly, we have the motion down drag, and this motion down is going to give the receiver a full run head start on the DB and allow him to get great separation, and you can just drop it into him and let him make a play with the ball in his hands. Then next up, we have slot corner and doubles north, and this is a great red zone play, and here are the adjustments we are going to use. So this is going to be an amazing red zone play where we're going to have 4 viable options, and this is going to be almost impossible to take them all away, allowing us to score a ton of easy touchdowns. So first we want to look to the short side to the corner route, and he will get up the field, and the deep defender here will get held inside by the streak. Then the flat defender should be in a hard flat in the red zone. Now this corner route will get wide open in the back corner of the end zone, and you just want to throw this as he breaks. Next we can look to the wide side, and here read the flat defender, and if at the snap he runs over to the tight end and the flat route, the running back wheel will cut in behind him, and if they have no one over the wheel, then you can just fire it into him up the shallow seam for really easy scores. Then if at the snap you see the flat defender is getting depth and not sprinting out to the tight end, this means they are not in a hard flat, so you can just drop it down to the tight end right away and rack catch the football and pick up those easy yards they are giving you. Then lastly, if at the snap you see the user overplaying to the wheel out of the backfield and sitting on that, then we're going to have the post from the receiver on that side cutting in behind the user, and once he clears from in behind him, you can just fire into him for another easy score. Now this offense is going to be amazing, but you also are going to want to pair it with another dominant scheme from this time, and I just made the Cowboys triplet scheme in their explosive I-form offense, and it does also run out of the West Coast Playbook like this Dolphins scheme, so you can combine them to become absolutely unstoppable. So if you want to check out that Cowboys scheme, you need to watch this video right here.